Well, global temperatures are on track to break another record this year. NASA scientists say the first 5 months of 2016 were the warmest ever for each respective month.
We're trying to help other kids compost so the world can be a better place, because if it's polluted, our world won't be our world as we know it. We're going to make a film that will go across the world so everybody knows that we should compost.
We went to McKean so we can get help from McKean students and improve our videos and parts in the video.
A few months ago, EdTV approached me and asked me if my students would be interested in partnering with a local grade school. Said that North Star Elementary had these composting PSAs that they'd like to do, and were contacted, and I wonder if our students would like to assist. And I thought that was a great opportunity. Our students hadn't had the opportunity to work on projects that weren't their own this entire school year. I'm not even sure if they've had it previously. So when I saw that, I thought, let's jump on it. It gets them out of the building, it gets kind of cross-curriculum, they get to see, it's great for recruitment to McKean as well. I think we have a great program here, and so for young people to be able to see what our high school students are doing, I think that's inspirational. Maybe they'll find their way into a career pathway this way. Sure, well, when they arrived, I figured, okay, if I'm a 4th grader or a 5th grader, somewhere around that age, am I comfortable with going into a brand new surrounding? And I'd want to see everything. So I thought the first thing we should do is see our kids be creative, see what type of environment that we have here, how a professional set works.
Well, when I went over to McKean, there were a lot of McKean students, and we saw the making of the announcements, and I was in the control room, and it was really fun.
I was pretty excited because I've never been to McKean before, and it was pretty fun.
It was really exciting when we got there. There was a bunch of high school students when we walked in.
There was a handful of kids, and I was kind of surprised because I didn't think there was going to be that much kids. So when we were back doing the morning show, I was hoping that I didn't write anything bad on the teleprompter to let them know that I messed up, because I was nervous.
Over the years, we never got to do something this big, like make a PSA for students from another school. It was a very big deal, and I felt a little nervous about it at first. I didn't know how it was going to play out, but overall, I thought it was a really big thing to happen for us.
I got to see what it was like to be recorded and to see what it was like to film things.
So we brought them in, made them part of the morning announcements. They got to observe, be in this room. We even incorporated a young girl. She could bring in the pizza raffle to Sam when he was doing the announcements. And I thought that would just be a great way to break the ice between our students and the kids.
It was pretty crowded. We had a bunch of kids in here that Mr. Bowman gave a little bit of quiz to see which kids could stand in here behind the cameras and stuff.
Steven Spielberg, back in the 1980s, directed a famous movie about an alien. What movie was that? Yes, you're
E.T.
That's correct. You can go back with there. All right, don't worry. There's still a couple really cool jobs available that you can watch and see.
It was crowded, but it was cool to, see them take an interest in what we were doing. We got them involved a little bit. We got the little girl to bring in Sam for the pizza raffle.
They were very interested. They were very interested to see what everything was like with us, what we did. I think when a lot of the kids first saw me, they knew I was doing morning announcements because I was the morning announcements guy for a while.
Good morning, McKean. Today is Tuesday, April 11th, and a B-Day.
Their eyes were so full with wonder and curious. It was a great experience for them to see what it's like with older students working with us. So one of them handed me the pizza raffle jar. I remember that was a very, very funny experience because one of them just handed it to me, and I overall did the whole little pick the name out of the jar thing. So
I got to be on their morning show.
You're going to walk this in, walk right behind the desk, hand this to him and say, you have to do the drawing, don't forget. And so he'll do the drawing, all right? So wait till we get to it, I'll tell you when to go in.
And that's all for today. Have a marvelous Monday, McKean.
Pizza.
Oh, I did? Oh, thank you.
I got to be on the morning show, and I said the goodbye at the end.
Congrats. It's been Sam Long from McKean TV, signing off.
Have a great week, McKean.
I met my team and I asked for their names, and they explained to me their story and their script.
They told us what they wanted to do, how they wanted it to go, and we told them what they could and could not do, and we made it happen.
I gave them a little advice, and then they start to draw out their storyboard.
We planned out the show, tweaked some things, made it better, and we went on to our storyboard.
We wanted to draw the pictures out so they would see, here's your script, are you happy with how this is going to look?
I got to work with 2 McKean students, and they helped us plot out our ideas and draw each section of the film, and we got to draw little pictures for each section that the camera's going to be looking at. And they also gave us some good ideas for our film and helped us finish it up.
It was kind of just them telling us what they had, their script, and then they were telling us that they had a few prop things for themselves already at the school. So we kind of just had them list off the things that they had, and then we came up with what we were going to bring, so the cameras and all that stuff. So we'll probably need a lot of equipment like boom mics and stuff.
You can pretend like you hurt your pet.
And of course they gave us the script, we looked at it, and then we kind of just adjusted it a little bit because they don't know about all the whole process thing, so we just had to make it fit correctly.
It was really productive. We got a lot done, and we changed a little bit of our script and made it more longer, more better.
And Mr. Bolden gave them the advice maybe to act it out, to see a picture in my head, see how we could get it through. So they acted out.
And then she's going to appear in this scene. So that's your second shot. Okay? So as a director, one of the things that you want to do is block. And it's much like stage blocking. You want to say, this is where you're going to stand, your camera right, your camera left. This is going to be a 2-shot on my storyboard. So I want them to practice that because they might need more shots. Some of our students only had 3 shots on the shot selection. I'm going, that's going to take a few more than that. I think you're probably going to have 15 probably at the end of this. So it'll help bring the creative process. And I think the students, they understood the process a little bit better and helped their projects become better overall.
The next step was sort of getting everything together before we went to North Star. We got the basic idea of what we would need, what type of different cameras we need.
So after we did the pre-production meeting, the students had to come back with the finished scripts. I wanted to see what they finalized after the students left, and so I reviewed all of those and made sure that they were ready to roll. We then discussed creating a crew. And so we used our level 3 students to fill in the gaps. So each team would have a crew of 3 individuals. We went through what each of those students' strengths were so they could try to figure out, if I may not be the best camera operator, but I know this level 3 student is, maybe I want them on my team. Or maybe directing's not exactly my thing, but this person's going to be great at that. So we tried to find team members to complement the group dynamics. And once we had that set up, came up with a packing list, what we were going to need to get the job done, and load it onto the bus.
My name is Daniel, and we're filming something for our Compost project in Tag.
When we got there, our commercial was unlike a lot of other things. So when we were doing that, it was a very unique process because we had a blue screen, and what we realized is one of the kids had a blue shirt on. So we had to throw on a black shirt for him, okay, we're gonna throw a black shirt for you. And I was director, and Caroline was on, I believe, camera, and Jonathan was sort of the sound guy. So we planned it out. We got all of our shots first. We sort of had them say their lines, and then towards the end, we put them all together, sort of to get their idea down. So,
well, when we first got there, it was we met up with the group that we were paired with here, and we got to work. I was surprised at how enthusiastic they were and hyped to get it done. They wanted to get it done and see it happen.
So we'll have the microphone right up here, okay? When I worked on sets, you have everything in advance. You have a scout go out, look at the location, make sure you know where you're filming, or at least send a picture of it, get my call sheet together, and I know this is what I expect when I arrive. All I knew was I was going to North Star Elementary. I had spoken with the teacher and just said, hey, this is what we're going to need. Let's have it set up. When we got there, of course, it's raining outside, and we said, it's not raining too much. Let's see what we can get done. So we go outside, we hit the playground, and within about 10 seconds, lightning strikes. Was it really just lightning?
Yeah. I don't know.
So should we be inside?
Probably. I mean, there it is.
There's thunder inside everybody. And we're talking, this is still early in spring, so I didn't think we'd have that problem yet. So lightning strikes, we run everybody inside, and we realized at that point, well, we don't have any rooms booked. So we had to get very creative with where are we going to shoot this piece? How's this going to work out? Lots of lightning bolts out, so this is not looking good for being outdoors, which means you need plan B today, okay? Not good, not good. These things happen in show business, right? We got to roll with the punches. What did they say? The show must go on, right? And I'm proud of our students for kind of being creative on the fly, because sometimes that's what happens. You don't always get the ideal shooting situation, but you got to make it work, and they definitely made it work.
Our script was supposed to be outside, so it kind of like messed us up because we had to find a different place to film. So we chose the library because there wasn't any other open space for us to actually film. And action.
Don't go yet. Oh, it's going really well. I'm having a lot of fun. But like sometimes you have to do like a shot over and over again, and it takes a long time to get.
I mean, we had to record it a couple of times because there were like a couple of screw-ups. Some of the audio wasn't kicking in, and we had like our background talents. We didn't notice it till like the end that it was kind of a little messed up, but I kind of edited it out, you know.
Make the most. Please compost.
It's going pretty well. You know, they're cooperating with us more than I thought they would. We're getting all of our shots pretty quick too. You guys having fun?
Yeah.
They said they're having fun.
So I think the fifth graders helped our high school students with the enthusiasm level, getting them excited about the pieces. On the opposite side, I think our high schools did a great job modeling maturity for them to bring them under control on set.
It was a bit challenging at times because you know how kids are, they get distracted by certain things. And it was kind of hard for them to focus at times, but at other times, they would perfectly be fine. So it was a very different process about that. And I felt it was a really good experience, but I thought sometimes I would be like, okay, we need to get this done. So we did, which it was a bit at times hard, but we overall got through it with them.
I saw some opportunities where maybe some of the fifth graders were off task, and I listened as our students brought them back to the project and said, this is what I need. And the students responded, and so I thought that was nice. So I think it's just two different maturity levels, but they complemented each other and brought each other to a greater degree.
Well, they're elementary school kids, so obviously it's not, you know, laser sharp focus and stuff like that, but I think they did really well, and maybe sometimes someone would get off topic and we're gonna be like, hey, you gotta continue this, but I think they did a really good job.
Students are really listening, doing a good job following direction, which I'm really happy about. I think they have a lot of respect for the high schoolers, and a lot of them are interested in film, so this is a good experience for them.
We were originally supposed to film in the cafeteria, and that's what it was like written down in the script. And we got there, and kindergartners or something was in the cafeteria, so we couldn't use that. So she said, why don't you just go use the teacher's lounge? And so we set everything up at the teacher's lounge, got tables moved, trash cans set up for the piece. And about 20 minutes later, she comes in, she's like, you know, teachers are gonna come start eating in here, so we gotta kind of move you out of this room as well. Then we all packed up, set everything up behind the stage in the cafeteria, and that's where it all finished up. Went pretty well back there after a couple minor inconveniences. But I think we kind of made the best with what we had and really made a good piece.
So our students here at McKean, I don't know that they all learned how to edit. I don't know that they really put together projects like this before, cut projects, rather than they cut assignments. A lot of times when you cut an assignment, they tell you, you're going to insert this clip, put an additive dissolve there, put a film dissolve here, project's done, make sure your sound's normalized. Here they actually had to take what they've shot and create a cohesive story and make sure there's not jump cuts, they're not violating any of the rules of film, the 180 line, etc. And so what I saw was some of the students undershot. So we had one group that when I looked at the script and I looked at their project, I thought to myself, this has nothing to do with the script that the students wrote.
That was kind of, it was a bit of a nightmare at times. Like Jonathan was on editing. It was a bit of a nightmare trying to get everything together because we had to find PNG files of like TVs, of backgrounds, of like branches. then the audio was out of sync at times, so we had to fix the audio. There was a bit of a rough patch for a while because we didn't know exactly how to make the audio match. So it was like that, and it was a bit of a nightmare at times, but we got through it. So
it was kind of like my first time trying to edit by myself, and I actually had help, and I like the final product of it. I like how it turned out, because at first I didn't know how to make sparklies and whatnot and transition and get the audio to come up. And I asked for help and I learned things from that.
Some few other issues that we had is a few of the groups didn't get clean audio, and some of it was not in their control. We ended up shooting on a stage with an entire cafeteria next door. And so while the cafeteria was loud, there's only so much you can do to fix your audio in post-production.
I learned new stuff. We learned new stuff. The effects were way better than I expected. It opened a whole new world for me. I'm pretty sure it did the same for him. Yeah.
Aside from the audio issues, it wasn't too much of a problem to edit and getting music.
Yeah, getting the music, and we were trying to think of what clips actually went together. Because again, there were some clips where it was a good take itself, but they were shifting our eyes towards the camera too much. So again, we had to use a different one.
Talked about some of those challenges, listened to their frustrations that they had, and at the end of the day I told them, be proud of what you've done. You took a very difficult age group at times to work with, and you partnered with them very well, and you came up with a nice product. So I know that they're very proud of that.
Shall we begin?
Here's our PSA clip, Compost the Coast. Hope you enjoy it.
Oh no, it's Evil Emily and her sidekick, Angry Arnav.
What a delicious evil banana. Yes. One of those ways people plan to help the earth. Yeah. Do not worry, Angry Arnav. I will not compost. Hey, who threw that there? Oh no, it's Banana Man. This is your boy? Next time you compost your bananas, okay? Make the most compost!
The wonderful Wyatt wins again.
Hey, I deserve a trophy or something.
I'm Nasir.
I'm Ryan.
And this is our clip, Make the Most, Please Compost. Enjoy.
Trash, recycling, or compost? I think trash.
No, that's not where you put it.
Recycling?
No.
Compost then? Thank you, teacher, on that composting.
You're welcome.
Great job, Awesome Alex, in composting, Cameron.
To remember us, you can keep these medals.
To remember us.
Hey, why did you little things throw that in a compost bin?
Yeah, that belongs in the trash.
But composting is good for the environment. It helps the planet.
Yeah, and didn't you know that it keeps food waste out of landfills and reduces pollution?
Well, I guess I never thought about it that way. Yeah, we'll start composting from now on.
Good. It looks like our job here is done reusing, Ryan.
Yeah. But remember,
Make the most compost.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.
My name is Jonathan Wagner Longacre, and this is North Star PSA Narration. I hope that you enjoy.
Hey everyone, know anything about composting? Well, if you don't, we'll teach you the basics. First, you go to the grocery store and buy some compost. Just kidding, if only it were that easy. Actually, the first step is to find an area with enough space so you can start your compost pile.
Put twigs and straws on top of the compost pile to help stop drainage.
Next, add compost materials in layers. Alternate moist and dry materials.
Do not put anything that can't break down, like plastic, chemicals, etc.
Now let's talk about the why, which is very important. Composting is really great because you can make something natural, which is fertilizer in this situation,
out of things like food, scraps, and soil, and you don't have to waste any food.
I'm Brianna, and the clip is called Behind the Compost, and I hope you enjoy.
Hi, my name is Ivy, and this is Behind the Compost. I'm here to tell you more about composting. Let me work my magic. This is where the compost bin will be. We will use the compost as fertilizer for the North Star Garden. Now let me introduce you to some of my friends.
Hi, my name is Brian, and I love eating apples. And when I'm done, the apples will go into the compost bin. Oh, I'm stuffed.
Don't go yet. I still have one more friend to introduce you to.
Hi, my name is Ann, and you can't just go piling random natural objects onto the compost pile. If you do, then you'll get a mush that you won't be able to put onto your garden. So you need to put things like apple cores, dried grass clippings, and then water onto the compost pile.
Make the most, please compost.
I felt it was a very great learning experience. It was very fun, very unique. Great working with the kids. It was a lot of fun. They were having a good time. They all looked like they were very happy with being here. They got to learn new things, and I personally think that's the best part when you have other kids coming from other schools and learning new things, especially ones in elementary school.
You know, looking back over the beginning of this project all the way to the end, I'm immensely proud to see the progress that my students made. Not just in the actual production, but in the confidence that they had in themselves. Many of them kind of looked at me when I told them what we were going to be doing, and I think they were concerned that they would mess up these videos for the children, or that the final products wouldn't come out nearly as well as they did. And I think it was really rewarding for both myself as a teacher as well as for themselves to see what they're capable of, to see their potential realized in their final projects. So at the end of the day, we may not have solved climate change, we may not have made our landfills less full, but I do believe that our kids have been left with a great educational perspective on both why composting is important, as well as students can actually see that film is one of the most powerful forms of media in order to get a message across. And so it's our hope that the students at North Star are able to convince the principal to be able to start their compost bins that they'd like to with the use of this video. I think that just shows the effectiveness that people can have through television, through film, and through radio, and all different types of media. When you get the message out there, people can really respond to it.